Hello everyone to the first episode of I don't know what I'm going to call this. At time of recording, genuinely have no idea what I'm going to call this. However, I asked on Twitter and I asked on the community tab of Flicks Tabletop Gaming, hey, is there any interest in me doing kind of like a weekly, although I think that's a bit ambitious, a bi-weekly, twice a month type update where I just show the things I've been painting for the various studio armies for all the games we play, just as an update to help motivate me to not have a pile of grey shame, as any miniature collector will know what I mean by that. And hopefully you as well, like some people did leave some nice comments like, don't be so down on your own painting skills, seeing any painting done motivates me to crack out the paints and do the same. And in case you aren't aware of what a pile of grey shame is, I can probably flash up a picture of mine here. I've got this pile of shame, everybody has this that collects miniatures. Lots of stuff keeps coming out and you want to buy miniatures because you like them, and then you don't notice how much unpainted stuff just piles up. I actually have two piles of shame. I have like the pile of shame I've just shown you, and then I have the Forgotten Vault of Shame, which is mostly like unopened, still boxed 40k stuff. But the stuff on that box, that's an 8th edition starter box, that's my I want to get this stuff done. And I feel like doing something like this might motivate me. So, if we come back to the current scene, this represents about the last 2 weeks of painting, all done in contrast, because contrast has changed my life as a painter. I've always been a subpar painter, but contrast paint at least makes my results at the end look slightly better. They're fantastic. So, we're just going to go through this. Don't get used to there being this many, or there might sometimes be more than this, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's more often than not less. The last 2 weeks the UK has been getting battered by storms, which has been a wonderful time to never go outside and just stay indoors and paint. So, first of all, I've kind of grouped it into the game systems. The first thing we have here is all the cops from the Back to Gotham Batman miniature game. Now, let's see how easily I can get these in focus. There is Harvey Bullock. I went from memory wanting him to look more like he did in the animated show, and I could have sworn he had a brown coat, but then I saw via a new Kickstarter actually, it's like a dark blue coat, so I got it wrong. But he does look like the old first edition Batman detective model, which I think was based on Harvey Bullock. He just wants to drink coffee and eat donuts. He doesn't care about catching criminals. Then you have the 4 cops. Lady Cop, who has a taser. I think I used Talsar, no, not Talsar Blue, Ultramarines Blue, with a dry brushing of Calgar Blue on top. And then just some Leadbelcher Silver. Because these aren't really fancy enough to warrant a contrast painting video. They're just grunts, they're just henchmen. He's meant to be a different shade of blue officially, but I wanted them to match. And it's supposed to say JCPD Detective on the back. It looks like it says CCPD and then just letters. Then we have a traffic cop who for some reason has been roped into helping arrest super criminals. I love that. He's got one of those traffic cop fluorescent high-res thingies. He's just got a flashlight and a nightstick and he's being brought in to deal with the Joker. It's hilarious. This guy is probably my favourite sculpt of the henchman. Just standing on a rock looking like a badass with a pump-action shotgun. It's a non-lethal shotgun, however, within the game rules. So he can't actually hurt anybody. He's very like the old Arkham Guard. So I wanted to get those done because they're going to appear in the next Batman Miniature Battle Report, which will be filmed a couple of days. Maybe tomorrow, depends. There's other things I want to do, but the bad weather is making it hard to record painting videos. So this is the interesting stuff. You might remember I did an unboxing of 3 miniatures from the Marvel Universe game by Night Models that is no longer in print. This is the Captain America from that. Used exactly the same colours as I did on the Crisis Protocol one. Different pose obviously. And also thanks to that video I have managed to track down a lot more miniatures from the game. They're not here yet, but I have also tracked down some stuff. I spent a day off looking at, like, in American terms, mom and pop stores with old websites, looking for like dead stock. So I managed to find a Cyclops, and this is Cyclops, like comic book Cyclops, not like the 90s cartoon Cyclops, which had a much cheesier costume. These are all done in metal. Contrast paint works really well on metal, unlike something else we'll talk about in a second. And fresh off the presses last night, Drax the Destroyer. I have to move him, otherwise he's invisible to the human eye, so understand that I'm doing that for your benefit. Comic book style again, not movie style where for whatever reason they made him grey. He is supposed to be green. And that's Plaguebearer Flesh contrast that I use for that. So what doesn't sit well with contrast, as you know, because I've mentioned before, is Modiphius's Fallout Wasteland Warfare. These are 2 ghouls. This one I think turned out fine, but contrast is just a pain to have apply, because even if you base coat them, it runs, and I don't know why. And that's despite them being washed. I washed them all. But this one, I think... Wait, actually, did I get it the wrong way round? I did get that the wrong way round. No, this one I'm fine with. This one applied perfectly fine. Totally fine. And then this one, I forgot that I added all the blood and whatnot to distract from how bad the clothing looks. It just did not apply, had to keep on applying layers, it lost all definition. Tried to do a dry brush to pick out some of the definition afterwards, didn't really work. It's just a feral ghoul, so it doesn't really matter in the long run, but wasn't happy with that. I don't know why the Modiphius stuff just doesn't sit well with contrast paint, it doesn't. So the last, also hot off the presses, is Valkyrie from Crisis Protocol. Basically used her as a test run for Thor, because Thor uses all the same colours except his cape is red. So I just wanted to test how it looked, and it turned out okay. Her sculpt actually, it's fine, but the instructions that come with the box have an error in them regarding her hair. It doesn't have how to assemble the hair, it accidentally has how to assemble a leg twice. So you have to wing it a little bit, but luckily I think I disguised the poor, like I didn't put it together properly. You can kind of tell at the back. But I think it looks okay, and again, anytime I do painting, I'm not a good painter. I aim to have it look good at like that distance. It's once you get right up in there, you can tell all the bad stuff. So that is 2 weeks worth of painting. I deliberately picked some easy miniatures so I would have a lot to show for this. I don't know what I'm calling this, but if you are interested in seeing these bi-weekly, let's say bi-weekly, weekly is beyond my capabilities of putting stuff out. A bi-weekly breakup of, I want more things to put in between battle reports, and I think doing a little painting blog update saying, hey look, here's some stuff I painted, might also give you some clues of what's coming soon, and ideally inspire you to get through your pile of grey shame as well. So thank you for watching this. I will hopefully see you again in 2 weeks time, there or thereabouts. I'm not going to stick to like a stringent must be exactly 2 weeks from then this goes live, but we should hopefully have some more stuff to show you. Get painting. If you think you're bad at painting, use contrast paint. It will hide your shame to a degree that makes it passable, at the very least. And if you want more specifics about what's being used, I do contrast videos on models I feel stand out for any given reason. I'll be doing a video on Thor. I'm waiting for a day where the weather isn't awful to have better lighting, because even the studio lights, I still need good light outside ideally. So there will be a Thor video coming soon, using the same basic style as I did for Valkyrie, so if you're curious how that was done, you will see soon. Thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to subscribe and look out for more videos in the future. Ta-ta for now.